The tragedy of Junko Furuta is one of the most monstrous, horrific, and unforgettable events in human history. This story is a bitter reflection of how ordinary girls can be stripped of their right to live freely and pursue their dreams. Born in 1972, Junko Furuta lived with her family, her father, mother, and brother in a Japanese prefecture. She was a serious student who maintained excellent grades in school and had a bright future ahead of her. However, fate brought her face to face with a group of brutal boys who had ties to school delinquents and the Yakuza, the Japanese mafia. The beginning, the abduction. One of the delinquents, Hiroshi Miyano, confessed his romantic feelings to Junko and asked her out. However, being a well-mannered and respectable girl, Junko rejected his advances. This rejection enraged Miyano, and he plotted to take revenge. Lacking the courage to act alone, he called upon his criminal accomplices for help. On November 25, 1988, around 8 p.m., as Junko was riding her bicycle home from school, Hiroshi Miyano and his friend Nobuharu Minato intercepted her. According to their plan, Minato kicked Junko's bicycle, causing her to fall. Right at that moment, Miyano appeared, pretending it was a coincidence. Acting as her savior, he offered to walk the frightened girl home. Unaware of his true intentions, Junko accepted. However, upon reaching a nearby park, the boys threatened her, dragged her to a nearby warehouse, and assaulted her. This marked the beginning of Junko's harrowing 44-day captivity. Shocking torture in captivity. The delinquents took Junko to the house where Nobuharu Minato's parents lived and kept her captive there. 4 main teenagers were involved in this heinous crime: Hiroshi Miyano, Nobuharu Minato, Yasushi Watanabe, and Joe Ogura Tetsuo Nakamura was also an accomplice. At the time, their ages ranged from 16 to 17 years old. On November 27th, when Junko's parents began searching for her, the boys forced Junko to call home. She was coerced into telling them that she had run away with a friend, that they should not worry, and that they must not contact the police. The teenagers threatened to murder her family if she did not comply. For 44 days, Junko was subjected to unfathomable torture, starvation, and humiliation. She was relentlessly beaten and used as a human punching bag. She was denied food. When she lost consciousness from starvation, she was forced to eat cockroaches and other degrading things. Lighter fluid and other flammable liquids were poured onto various parts of her body and set on fire. Heavy iron bars and foreign objects were inserted into her body and internal organs, causing horrific injuries. Her nose and oral cavities became so severely filled with blood that she struggled to breathe. Throughout her captivity, the criminals invited around 100, some sources claim up to 400, of their acquaintances to abuse Junko. On one occasion, the girl was forced to endure sexual assault by 12 men simultaneously. Although Minato's parents were aware of what was happening in their house, they never reported it to the authorities or helped the girl out of fear of the Yakuza. The tragic end. On January 4th, 1989, the boys began playing a game of mahjong with her. Angered by their losses, the teenagers subjected Junko to a final, brutal beating. They struck her abdomen and body with heavy iron bricks, poured flammable liquid over her once again, and set her on fire. After this final bout of torture, which lasted for over 2 hours, 17-year-old Junko Furuta succumbed to her severe injuries, internal bleeding, and boundless agony. Discovery and justice. Upon realizing the girl was dead, the criminals attempted to hide their deeds by placing her body into a large 55-liter oil drum and pouring concrete over it. They then dumped the drum in a landfill in the Koto district of Tokyo. In early 1989, while police were interrogating Miyano regarding another crime involving the abduction of a young woman and her son, the details and confessions regarding Junko's death unexpectedly came to light. The police subsequently recovered her body from the concrete-filled drum. At the time, Japanese laws provided very lenient punishments for juveniles. The main perpetrator, Miyano, was sentenced to 20 years later, extended closer to a life sentence, while his accomplices Minato, Watanabe, Ogura received sentences ranging from 5 to 20 years. The public viewed these sentences as incredibly lenient. After their release, the criminals changed their names and continued to live their lives in anonymity. Aftermath and legacy. Upon hearing the horrific details of the torture her daughter endured, Junko's mother suffered a severe mental breakdown, was hospitalized, and developed severe psychological trauma. Junko Furuta's funeral was held on April 2, 1989. Thousands of people gathered to mourn her passing. Her father placed her favorite beautiful clothes into her coffin so she could rest in peace. The school principal presented her high school diploma to her parents posthumously. Several films, books, and songs have been created based on this tragic event, serving as a grim reminder to humanity of the extremes of human cruelty. Junko's friends and people around the world still remember her with deep sorrow and profound grief.